Hey friends, it's the Baron with Out the Window Weather on this Wednesday. Actually don't know the date. 2019 maybe. Anyways, so in today's chat, I thought I would bring up the subject of what if this is the last summer before the collapse. Or maybe wording in better terms, what if you had knowledge that everything that you know will be completely different by next year at this time? How would you, what decisions would you make today differently than you're currently making? I know it's a weird thought experiment, but with the crazy climate that we have going on right now in the world, I thought it's a good time than ever to figure out if the path that you are currently taking is a sustainable path, if it's the path that makes the most sense for you, and if you continue on this path, does it, regardless of what happens, will you be able to deal with it? So, I've really thought about this because I used to be a really big prepper and I used to plan a lot of stuff. And then I noticed that in the last couple years, I've kind of slacked away at it. I think doing all the permaculture farming and trying to focus on building education courses and things of that sort really slowed me down. But just paying attention to all the craziness in the world right now and really just thinking that regardless of what happens, there is no way for them to get better right now. No one's asking the right questions. No one's making the right decisions. So let's say that things get worse. What are you doing to ensure that your quality of life will be tolerable? So, what am I doing? And what am I going to start doing in the future? So what I've done in the past is I've learned a bunch of skills. I've started farming. I've learned what variety of fruits, vegetables, wildlife. I've identified plants and things of that sort that I can consume. I know where fresh water sources are. And I have a genuine of very basic food already figured out. I'm pretty easily entertained. I like identifying plants. I like going for hikes. I like playing outside. So I would say my entertainment level is covered. And the reason I mention entertainment level is so many people, when they think about the future and I should kill myself now. Well, I'm actually very content with life. So, and for those that are watching this on YouTube, I'm doing this through Periscope. So, but yeah, there's plenty of entertainment out there in the world that I'm perfectly content with. But that's one of the things that a lot of people kind of skip when it comes to planning for a future that is different than it is today. I'm a huge gamer, love technology, would prefer not to live without it. But what happens if this time next year the internet's broken, or the power grid's down, or X? Because again, I'm not trying to predict what the collapse will be. It's just a collapse of the way of life that you are currently enjoying today. So maybe the grocery stores don't get groceries. Or maybe that nice job you have, you don't have anymore. So, first and foremost, I plan on all the food because I understand that food equates to energy, and I would like to be able to eat and have the energy to enjoy all the other things. So I learned the skills of farming. I've learned wildcrafting. I actually raise chickens, and know where some little stashes of food are here in the mountains. I'm in southern West Virginia, for those that are wondering. So that's that aspect. I've been learning to make variety types of alcohol. I've got a distiller, and alcohol, to me, I feel is a great tradable resource, because you can use it for medicine, which I actually do know how to make certain types of medicines from certain types of alcohol and the herbs and such. You'd be really surprised when you really break down a lot of the pharmaceutical medicine. A lot of it actually has an herbal, natural base to it. So you believe that when the shit hits the fan, it's going to be Walking Dead style people running around killing people. I do believe that would be possibly true in a city setting. That's why I, in every way possible, would choose not to be in a city setting. I actually have a plan in place that if I'm on holiday or out and about and I'm in a larger city for whatever reason, how to quickly get out of there. I have physical maps. So I have physical maps, and I know how to use them so that I can, if the grid goes down or if things go down. So, somebody said that they believe that the people in the cities will all be running to the mountains. And I actually had thought that at one point too, until I talked to some city people. And it depends on what particular region of the country you're in. But in some regions, they totally believe that regardless of the disaster, the government will come in and help. And they believe in the sitting there and waiting it out, which, I guess if you feel that's your only tactic, I guess it's a suitable tactic. I think that's crazy talk. But the cool thing that I love about the crazy talk about that is that also means that there's less people that will be coming here to get. What do I believe is going to happen? I don't really know. That's, to be truthfully honest, I'm actually at this particular point want to just plan for everything. Something simple as a breakdown in our food delivery chain is really going to affect the way of life that we have. It's not about living in fear. I don't live in fear. I prefer to live in preparation. I like to have an idea in place so that if it happens, it's just second thought just to move over to that channel. Just like when you drive. The first time you drive, it was, first time you get in a car, it might be a little scary, or it could be super exciting, depending on how you choose to look at it. I choose to look at things would get chaotic, but then after the chaos settles, it might not be too bad. I definitely believe at some point in my lifetime there will be a grid down, and who knows how long that grid down will be, and who knows what will cause that grid down. But I believe that the grid down, helping others, that's a very, very good point. That is a key to survival. I totally think that you need a skill set that is going to benefit you along with those that you're around. And my skill set is education. I really want to be able to, once people settle down and they're no longer scared, I would like to be able to teach folks how to grow food or find food or even just help prep areas so that other folks can grow food, because not everybody can grow food. Not everyone has that skill set, not everyone has that talent, but there might be someone that's a really good ditch digger, and that ditch might be used to capture different rainwater. And so I also just like I'd like to help people understand their skills, so that they can figure out what they are the very best at and how they can help. The collapse, like I've said before, I'm not actually, I don't know what the collapse would be. The collapse could be just about anything, and I'm open to just accepting that things would be different. And martial law and things of that sort, while that's totally plausible, it depends on how much of the what kind of disaster. Because if let's just say it was a grid down and we lost power and we lost the internet and all that kind of stuff, martial law wouldn't work, because the people that are enforcing the martial law would be worried about their families, and they would be worried about themselves, and things of that sort would be far more important to them than enforcing particular laws, knowing that their payment is not really useful. Now, that being said, I do believe that there will be police officers and there would be firemen and EMT that would still function inside that. So for those that ask if I'm married, I am not. I have a full-time girlfriend, but long story short is I don't like that the government requires you to have a license to love another person. So that's where my anarchist views come about. So it's just, so really the whole big thing is out there is I really want to know what other people feel is important. You can comment here on Periscope and I will do my best to read it, but also I'm going to post this on YouTube. Under YouTube it's under Tales of an Innkeeper, so if you want to find that, and I'll just use the same title, and you guys can post your video or your opinions, what you're going to do. Yes, Tales of an Innkeeper, exactly, thank you. And I'm just curious what you would say you would do, things of that sort. I have not left the hemisphere, but I have been to third world countries, and I have been to third world America. And maybe one day, I don't think Periscope, I don't think internet works there, but maybe one day I'll do a travels down to third world Appalachia and show you that while no, it is not as bad as places like India and places that I have seen in really rural, like Costa Rica, Mexico, it rivals some stuff that you would not imagine is happening inside this country. It is, the pollution, the way the coal companies have decimated the land around it. It's interesting, but it also is very eye-opening. And you can get a rough idea of what things could possibly turn to if a major war would ever break out here in the United States, which I don't actually know is possible because of our size of our country. The Civil War and such decimated enough, and they and that was really only when our country was tiny. Thank you. Yeah, I'm standing on the top of Flat Top Mountain. I'm about 3,700 feet up, and just looking at the clouds and the mountainside, and you can see the chemtrails there. So yeah, I am genuinely, that you brought up a very good point about people that are on any type of medication. Some that need it and some that have a mental addiction. Those, to me, are probably the most scary individuals, and I would suggest to anyone that is a prepper or anyone that has loved ones that are addicted to or required to function in being on any type of antidepressant, is to always make sure that there is a stockpile left up, because if you've never had to come down off of trying to quit taking an antidepressant or something like that, I had to help a friend go through that, and it can be a very tough breaking that addiction. And if you also are having to go through some type of localized chaos along with coming down through that addiction, you are not going to be very productive, and if someone isn't there to support you, it's going to be very tough. I also had friends come down off of pain meds, and yes, that's why I have since learned how to. There's certain herbs and things like almonds, raw almonds, that actually do a good job of masking pain, so that while they're coming down off of it, if they eat a lot of that, it's not a great stop, but it's a step. So really the moral of all of this is that I have been slacking in the last year due to lots of crazy things that's happened in life, and I need to get back on my priorities. Yeah, hold on. For those that want to see me, this is me. It's the Baron. So I think the scenery is a lot more interesting than seeing me talk on a gaming headphones, so I'm gonna flip back. So anyways, what I was saying is before, I've been slacking, and I need to figure out ways to re-prepare my mind and re-prepare everything so that I can get back into the mindset of if any type of collapse happens, from something like just simply grid down to, let's just even just say a major storm comes and knocks down part of the power grid just in a portion of the United States for an extended period of time. Hello, Jessica. You take care too, Faith. Live life. And yeah, just if just a small little one, look at Superstorm Sandy or Hurricane Sandy for some of you folks. I got 20 inches of snow here in a short period of time. Luckily, I had to figure out, luckily I had tarps and such, because I hadn't winterized my chickens yet. They all survived, but it was a lot of hard work. But luckily I had planned tarps and had a basic plan in place. It definitely got modified. But having that, just little things. I've gone 2.5 weeks without power down here before because of crazy weather things. I've had to go. I've gone a lot of stuff without the internet, and as silly as that sounds, like, oh, it's easy to go without the internet. If you're using the internet as an educational source to learn new things or to help answer questions, not having it really can do some major dampers onto the time that you need to make a good, strong decision. So that in turn has reminded me that I need some more stronger books, and and I needed some good books with some good information. And I've actually just been journaling myself, and actually as I have better information, I've been adding it to my things. I'm in southern West Virginia. It's in an area called Flat Top, northern Mercer County, very tip of West Virginia. That mountain range you see there in the distance, that's actually the West Virginia border, for those that are wondering. Dobbridge, that is an area that I've always wanted to check out, Mark. That area seems pretty awesome. The reason it's called Flat Top is I'm standing on the flat part of the top of the mountain, and it's referred to as Flat Top because there's about I think roughly about 7 to 10 acres on top of the Great Flat Top Mountain ridge that's flat, and that's where the name came from. So identifying more plants is my first thing, and getting a field guide in place so that I can have a resource that is localized to Appalachia and things of that sort. That's one of my first goals. And one of my next goals is I don't know I don't know exactly where and how important stacking silver is. I have a little bit of silver, just because I mostly do 1/10. And things, but I like I said, I think making alcohol, learning how to make particular food. I've noticed that eggs are a great way to do barter system. The guy that just mentioned eating bugs, you would be surprised. Mealworms are actually fairly tasty. Back when I was trying to be more of a survivalist, I was figuring out which bugs to eat. Bark soup. Short of cherry bark and a few other things that have some medicinal value, I'm not sure why bark soup would be good. Maybe, I don't know, I'd be interested. I'll have to look something up. Maybe there is a type of bark that I'm unaware of, since I didn't know about cherrywood bark, and how it is good for adding into alcohol to add to a cough medicine and things of that sort. But I also, the other reason other reason I'm doing this video and things is it's so scary out there, and everybody keeps trying to promote this fear, and just simple little preparation work. It's kind of like changing your oil in your car, or checking, when you see a light come on. If you've got a plan in place, even if it's not a good one, it just makes that step a little easier, to have your mind jump from the chaos, crazy, the police, black people, Muslims, Christians, everybody's killing everyone, to, no, I think it's going to be okay. I just going to do this step and do this step. I'm going to look to this book. I'm going to eat this food. I'm going to find this water. And, you're going to find your passion, and you're going to take and move it forward. And again, I'm not sure that when the collapse would happen. This is just a thought experiment. Maybe the collapse will happen when I'm older. Maybe when I'm in my 90s. Maybe it'll happen tomorrow. If the person just mentioned that she didn't eat, I'm going to guess that she's vegan. And I hope I'm correct with that. That's why I felt it's important to learn wildcrafting. I know about the variety of stuff, like right here, standing here on the mountain for just a few minutes. This is clover. This is red clover. Now those purple are getting a little older, but very, very high in the good kind of sugar. So if you need, that energy boost. And then most everybody probably has these in their yard. This is a white flower. It usually has a black dot in the center. This is Queen Anne's lace. Queen Anne's lace is pretty much wild carrot. Very edible, very good for you. You can actually eat the whole entire thing. If you eat anything but the root, it's kind of stringy and chewy, and it's not super tasty. But that's just standing up here on top of the mountain, just chit-chatting, showing how easy you can find food. The temperature right now here in Flat Top is about 82 degrees. So, are there shrooms? Yes, there are. I've got cow poop, so there are shrooms. It is, I don't have 100% sure if they're a psilocybin. I have tried to identify them as psilocybin. I don't think you can eat cow poop, but what you can use cow poop for is there's actually a lot of benefits to cow poop if you need to build a shelter, because cow poop already has a lot of grass and such in it. You can use it for like an earthwork siding or something of that sort. Yeah, I believe I have found blue caps here as well, but again, my mushroom identifying skills is definitely something I'm trying to work more on. I definitely have morels. I have puffballs, so those are definitely things that I find. Why am I breathing fast? I just came when I walked up the mountain. It's about 600 feet up, and I've been slacking in my exercise, so I need to also get on top of that. Yeah, slacking. That silly thing where I haven't spent enough time. I haven't baled the hay yet this year, so I haven't got my good baling the hay workout, and I've spent way too much time playing video games. So back to what I was saying about being prepared instead of scared. I think it's a good idea. I am not a smoker, so my entire family is. I'm not. Yes, LifeStraw. For those that are not familiar with LifeStraw are pretty awesome. Yes, I have lots of cell towers around, which I'm not exactly happy about. I don't necessarily like cell towers. I do drink occasionally, for the gentleman that was wondering, or the person that was wondering. I couldn't see the picture very clear, I'm going to guess. But yeah. But now, anyways, back about LifeStraw. Used one, awesome. I also have backpacking, like water filters and such. I'm lucky here, most of the water sources are very good. I also, at least at the particular moment in life, I can drink just about any water because I drink a lot of virgin water, so I have a lot of those good enzymes. So you wanted me to guess your age. I'm not sure. So possible collapses, since people keep asking me about what the possible collapses are. Yeah, LifeStraws are about $20. You can get them on Amazon. I see them all the time. Actually, I'll even put a link, if for those of you that are going to go to YouTube, and if you're interested in watching this, I'm going to repost this on YouTube. If you'd like to do a response video or just like to do a response, it'll be under Tales of an Innkeeper with the exact same name that I have today. So what are some of the collapse scenarios? Realistically, I don't like to go absolutely crazy. I still think the sun could do something, and we could get an an EMP off of the sun, and it could definitely change some stuff. Well, the climate's going to change regardless. EMP, yeah, the climate's going to change regardless. I've already seen it in the 11 years that I've lived here. Prior to what the TV's telling you, I've seen it. The weather has been more extreme, and I have seen more cold than I actually have warm. An EMP might not wipe everything out. An EMP could just turn everything off for an extended period of time, depending on how strong or how weak it was. And for the people that were wondering about the Pokemon, there are plenty here. I've caught some pretty awesome ones. Am I a scientist? It depends on what you define by scientist. I did go to school for 11 years. I have a understanding of, I pretty much did a variety of stuff, and I document and observe and write down and theorize about a lot of stuff. So maybe a backyard scientist. I'm 37, for those that are wondering. Again, though, if for those that are talking about the bunker and things of that sort, no, I don't plan on. I'm not going to plan that intense. If there's a reason I need a bunker, then things are already past my level of being comfortable with. Do I think what's happening in Turkey will happen here? Maybe, especially since more information about Turkey is coming out, that it was a staged event that the president put into place so that he could add himself more dictatorial power, even though he is an elected official. And if you follow the political things that's happening in Turkey, he has done some pretty crazy things. Overpopulation. I do not believe in overpopulation. I just believe that there are people living in a non-resource rich area, and I think just like animals learn and plants learn to not live in particular regions because they're going to run out of food, I believe that us humans should be that intelligent. I also am a permaculture farmer, and I've seen what little bit of planning a permanent garden and what you think about and how permaculture garden, with just a small little bit of area, can grow ample amounts of food because it's not a monoculture. Yes, it is more labor intensive to pick that food. But if you're feeding a smaller community and you don't have to transport the food as far distances, which we do not equate that into the price of food enough, I think that permaculture is definitely one of the ways to go. Okay, for those in the southern hemisphere, it would be next winter, or it could still be next summer. It's just next summer. That would be even shorter distance for you. That would be, intriguing. What collapse am I talking about? I'm not actually talking about any collapse in general. I am simply talking about trying to plan ahead for any possible thing that could affect you, from a major loss of income to a completely grid down to general social unrest in your area. All of those are plausible. All of those are absolutely plausible, and I think it's a good idea to have some idea. If there was no condoms in the world, well, there's actually plenty of ways to practice safe sex without the currently manufactured condoms. There's sheepskin. Well, it's actually sheep intestines, but there's plenty of ways that someone could find ways to practice safe sex in a grid down type scenario, which actually is, it's a very valid point, that is something to be worth thinking about, because you wouldn't want to increase the population, especially increase the population of your local community by having children that aren't in a suitable environment to survive. We currently live right now this mindset. It's just so easy for people to have kids and to not really think out how much resource drain and time is going to take. But having children would also be very important once things settled out. What do I think the most likely thing? I still think the sun, or I think just a general financial global collapse. I think that the world financial system is close to non-existing. And so that's where I believe in, if you like energy and you like food, that in every way possible you should figure out how you are going to create your energy through solar, wind, kinetic, hydro, and grow your own food. For those that maybe live in this scenario where it's a lot harder to grow your own food, this is the one thing that's pretty cool about all of the legalization of marijuana. Those little grow areas that you can get and all those supplies to grow, you can actually grow food inside those same areas. And if you don't have the space and you have a windowsill or things of that sort, you can grow quite a few things in containers. Lettuce grows well in containers, celery, tomatoes. Those are just good examples. Yes, eating less meat is definitely something that you should consider doing. Unless there's exceptions to that. If you can grow your own and you can maintain your own meat source, and you have pretty much created the food, like let's just say, like I have cows up on the property. I will. If when you live and you're creating most of your own meat, you're going to naturally eat less meat, because you're going to see how labor intensive and how expensive it is to have meat. Now I have a pond here, and my pond is well stocked with fish, and garnishing fish onto particular meals can definitely help. It depends. The cows, you're asking how much water cows need. The cows that are here on the property are completely free range. We supplement them no type of food or anything else. I have a pond right there, and then up on top of the mountain where I just came down from, there's also a small little pond, and right there is suitable food sources. No, I'm not a vegetarian. I just use meat. I garnish meat on side. My girlfriend is a vegetarian, but she eats eggs and drinks milk. Excuse me. Is Obama going to be the last president? That is a really great question. I don't know. With the craziness of Trump and the craziness of Hillary and everything else that's going on, sometimes I wonder if something bad's going to happen and we're just going to suspend the election and Obama stays in for a little bit longer until a major shuffling collapse, something happens. So maybe I don't know. U.S. will last 1,000,000,000,000 years. Um, Wrong turn. I'm walking down an old historic road. Uh-oh. Well, my phone is telling me it is getting too hot, which is odd. So, if this just cuts out on anybody, I'm sorry, but I'm going to keep walking until it cuts out on me. So, the Earth won't even last a few billion years. That's interesting. I'm not sure. I could maybe see that. It all depends on the sun. Ah, okay. Didn't know about that. Periscope heats up phones intensely. I'll have to keep that in mind and find a way to cool it in the future. So the one that just asked, I'm in southern West Virginia, in a town called Flat Top. And we're just having our chat about I will carry an ice pack with me next time. That is a good idea. So just as I actually feel the phone getting hotter, we'll just do a general recap for those that missed all of this. Do I believe in flat Earth? I do not. I'm not a flat Earth believer, but I also do not believe that we are the image that we currently believe we are. I don't know what that is because I can't go into space. But if you want to see some pretty interesting facts, look up the fact that all the images of the Earth that we have seen have actually been stitched together through Photoshop and things of that sort. Do I think Alex Jones is good? I think Alex Jones is a great first step to wake people up, because some people need to be shaked awake. But once you clean out your eyes and you realize that he is a little too intense and a little too much passing the fear and things of that sort. So he's a good first step, as long as you step away from him fairly quickly. But that's with a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things that are good, as in like a good example is you can use cocaine to bring someone back that's just had a heart attack. It'll help shock them, but saying that you want to have them on a regular basis is kind of silly. Economic collapse. I do believe that there will be an economic collapse. That is part of what I think is possible. So as we head back down, this time I'm actually going to definitely do a recap. So we talked about today, we talked about all the cool ideas of how we can be prepared. I mentioned about farming, growing your own food, and figuring out what natural resources and what skill set you have on how you can survive and what awesome things that you can do. For those that actually want to comment some more and want to do more, and give me some more history, want to tell me a little bit about what your plans are, or just want to say really mean things to me because it's funny. This Tales of an Innkeeper on YouTube, and then I'll just use the same title as this, and you can jump on there and give your piece, and I'll post the whole entire thing up unedited, so you can fast forward and jump to the parts that you want to see and things of that sort. So, well, thank you. And I'm trying to, for those that are interested, I want to try to do this weekly.